Have you ever done anything that you just wanted to do?
Hey! That's just crazy.
Here, you try. Trust me, it feels great.
I'm excited to be talking to y'all today about this beautiful story that y'all are telling. And just to start, I like to dive right on in. There was a line that stood out to me, and I'm curious, what line from each of your characters did you say really hit at the heart of this story? Just one line that you can think of. And it doesn't have to be verbatim, obviously.
You know, we shot this, everything was delayed because of the strike. So we shot this a while ago, and I didn't rewatch it, but maybe you can tell me.
I would say, you're right, for real though. I would say for me, maybe I want Trey and Sierra to have a normal life. I want my mom to be well. I want to have a normal life. I don't want you. That's a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's a one.
So, what about you, Sierra?
For me, I think Cassidy had a lot of memorable lines, but the one that, to me, posed the most questions and made you really think and wonder why she's saying it is, why did you flinch? That's a question that she would constantly ask Brandon. So I think that there's a reason that she would ask it, and as the story unfolds and you watch the film, you'll understand why.
Two things just came to me. Oh, no, but you can tell me too. But two things just came to me. I'm back on the wagon. I tell him that. And when she says that, it means that she started going to therapy again and taking her meds again, which for Janice, you know, that's part of her arc. And she's trying. And then one of the things I just love about this script, it was fresh in that, you know, these are characters that we can all relate to, but you haven't necessarily seen it on screen. I love the scene in the laundromat where they have their game of spelling bee, and she was the spelling bee champion. Like, that's so cool, right? And then she's going off to clean buildings. So just the uniqueness of that to me stands out. But you tell me.
Such a good scene, too.
So it was one of your lines, actually. No, that's why it's so funny. So the line that stood out to me is, well, it was about loving the wrong people.
Yes.
Or loving people who hurt you.
Yeah. Because then I think Brandon responded with like, I know that all too well, or something like that.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Loving people. I mean, it's like, if you're human, come on.
What aspects of your characters, you know, you're all coming from different positions in the story. What, you know, as actors, what aspects of your characters did you feel was the most important to bring forward?
For me, the aspect was the element of being unsure in life, because then he gets to be taken on this journey where a lot of things don't have a surety to them, you know. And so it was important for me to sit in that, to be able to be taken on that journey by Cassidy. And me just not really knowing who I am, him trying to find himself, and then him doing all these things with this person that help him realize, oh, this is a part of me, or this is what this feels like. I never thought about it like this, or kind of like that.
For Janice, I would just feel like the center of the character is her love for her son. Even as messed up as she is, and that she's kind of failing as, you know, a single mother, but she has that love. And for me, that I had to hold that in order to play all of these messed up things that she does. You know, she can't help it necessarily, but she has that core. And that's the thing that kind of pulls her to try again.
Yeah, family.
Yeah, I agree. For Cassidy, I feel like it was definitely the element of danger. And that can mean many things, whether that means she's a danger to herself or a danger to other people. I think that she definitely had no boundaries, and her being fearless, I think, led her into many situations. And throughout the story, she decides to bring Brandon into her world of unpredictability and not really being grounded in who she is. So I think that in a way, her meeting Brandon also helps her deal with that.
Beautiful. I like that. Now, I do have one specific question for Sanaa. You really transformed yourself for this character. And a lot of times you see people play mood disorders like too much. And I love the subtlety you brought to it because it's more realistic. And I would love to hear more.
Well, I mean, I think that mental illness it's like all of our brains are different, right? We're like snowflakes. There's not one that is the same. And we have, with mental disorders, we have names for certain things, but the truth is, and I've dealt with this firsthand with people I know within my friend group to family members, is that even if you say, yeah, I'm bipolar, this bipolar looks different from that bipolar. And there's a lot of people walking around where it won't look like they're the person on the street talking to themselves and they need to be in a mental institution, but they may just be, a little more stressed out in certain situations or have different kind of outbursts. And it just looks differently. And so that was also one of the things I was drawn to in the script is that, oh, yeah, this is great because this is showing a different side of mental health issues that, it's all around us. And she's going through a lot. Black women in America, we know what that is. And then you're a single mother, and then you have this burden of mental health issues. You're struggling to pay the bills. You don't have the support. You got to work. You're tired. You're, physically. So it's like she's doing the best she can, and she is imperfect. And I loved playing that because that's life. That's human. So I kind of had a lot of compassion for her.
I see it, and you can see it because there's no stereotyping, and I think that's so important, especially for us as a people. We get to see you all go through these truly emotional difficulties in this beautifully shot world, and yeah, I have so much respect for the story you're trying to tell and the way you all approach your characters. There's a real sense of compassion there that I appreciate.
Oh, good.
Yeah, of course. What do you each love most about this project, this experience?
Well, for me, I love how there's elements that are familiar with this in the story, but it's completely fresh. The way that it's told. And then when I saw it, I mean, that was just the script. I was like, oh, I haven't seen this before. It's like there's so many elements that are new and fresh and a new vision. But then when you see it, it's actually shot so beautifully and artistically, and the score is beautiful. And so for me, it was a moving story that I hadn't seen before, which, we've kind of seen everything before, right? In this day and age.
That's interesting.
So
that's interesting. Yeah, for me, obviously you have the heart of the story, what it is, and then you have everything else encompassing around that. But likewise, I think the movie is very fresh. Also, it reminded me of certain things that I felt before. Like, for instance, when I watched Fight Club, certain little things, it's like, oh, wow, this is like a movie's movie or an actor's movie, in a sense. So that's a challenge to make something feel very fresh and new, but also draw on inspiration like we all do, because it's like, what is new? But to make something feel that's an accomplishment, though. Shout out to Thembi.
Shout out to Thembi.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Thembi. Shout out to our amazing director. Definitely, I think everything. I think, like Sanaa was saying, aside from the beautiful artistry and the amazing script and the story that it tells, and touching on mental health issues and things that we as a people and within our culture can relate to on many different levels. I think that it was just truly a passion project. Like we were saying, this happened right before the strike. So it was such a interesting time that we filmed this, and I could really tell that everyone just wanted this to be great, and everyone put their heart and soul into it. And, from costumes to music and the style and the bold, artistic ways that people were contributing to the film in so many different ways. So I was just very glad that it all came together, and I think that we all conveyed what we wanted to, and hopefully someone will get inspired by what we created.
We're excited to see
Yeah.
what people feel.
Yes.
Right? The feedback.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm excited.
Well, I can tell you just from watching, I'm excited to hear other people's feedback too, because what I will say too, it's one of the most unique things I've seen on BET in a while, and that just made me so happy.
Yeah,
Like,
it's good.
to see some art and seeing y'all showing this story, and I'm so excited for more of it. And I think people are going to be really, like, the audiences, the viewers, BET viewers are going to be like, this is.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Look at her
that's
face.
good.
It's cute.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
It's absolutely true. And with that in mind, what are you hoping that they get from the story?
Well, for me, it's always, I just love movies that stay with you. Nowadays with streaming, there's so much product out there. I mean, I've seen so many things, and you know, once it's over, or I can't even get through it. So you know, you never think about it again. And you know, you put your heart and soul into projects, and you want it to stay with people. You want it to make an impression. You want them to reflect. I feel like people will probably debate about some of the twists and turns. I want them to see themselves, and I want them to be entertained. But ultimately, I feel like this is a movie that people can watch again too, and get a different, because there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, definitely. This is for sure a second time, third time watch type of movie. I think for me, I just hope that it lightens the conversation, or opens up the conversation within. We're talking about our community within the, even beyond the BET community though, just within the world, but specifically within our community. I hope that it opens up the conversation of therapy being normal, of talking to somebody about your problems being normal, of, you know, expressing things that are on your head that sit there for so long, which is why people just combust at a certain point. But it's just like, you know, if we can ease that, if we can start taking these steps toward
Taking
it,
the shame,
there
out of mental health
shame and
issues.
that judgment,
Yep.
And start the dialogue of, okay, what is it that will help me? What is a healthy way to cope with what I'm dealing with? Whether that is therapy, whether that is drawing like Brandon does in the film, whatever it is, what's something that works for you but is also not detrimental to yourself?
Yeah, very true.
Absolutely. I'm so excited for people to, I'm pro therapy all day.
Yes.
All day, every day, morning, evening, noon.
Me too. We need it. We need it all day.
We all
Therapy
need
break.
it. Everybody.
So true.
I think people are going to be like, oh, maybe this is something I can do, especially with, you know, there are options. There are affordable options out there. So I'm excited to see what good will come from this. And I'm so grateful for y'all's time today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Y'all are terrific and tremendous. Your performances are, they just made it. I went to theater school. You couldn't tell.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, it's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Take
good
care.
one. Thank you.